Good morning, welcome to Walking with the Word. This morning we're going to talk about purpose because we're in a time of repurposing, and yesterday I talked about peace, and I put these two together for a reason because I think peace and purpose exist in a beautiful synergy. So why do we need to have peace and purpose together? I believe if we have peace without purpose, that'll lead to apathy. It's great to be peaceful, but if you're just peaceful and there's no purpose, you'll find that you won't go anywhere. On the other hand, if you have purpose without peace, that leads to burnout because you kind of get frantic. You know you've got things to do, but you've not got the peace, you've not got the pace, and you've not got the rhythm. So peace and purpose need to be a partnership in our life. Sorry for all the P's, the alliteration is intended here. Every good Christian talk has its good share of alliteration. But peace and purpose should exist in a partnership in our lives, a perfect partnership, there you go, another P, because they mean that we'll move forward, but we'll do it at the right pace and in the right rhythm, and we won't burn out. So we're going to learn about purpose today, and I want to explore 3 verses that talk about purpose. I mean, there is so much to say about purpose. People have literally written books on it, but I just want to kind of give you a brief introduction, some of my own personal thoughts on purpose, and just start to explore some Bible verses. So the first one I want to look at is in Ephesians 2:10. Paul says that we are set apart for good works which were prepared for us beforehand. I love this. So God has a purpose for us, and when God has a purpose for us, that's our purpose with a capital P. What do I mean by that? Well, we can make our own purposes, and people can make purposes for us. And sometimes those purposes are worthwhile, sometimes they're not. So for example, if your boss tells you to move a pile of bricks 2 meters to the left in the yard of your workplace, that's probably not a very worthwhile task. It would be your purpose because you have to go and do it because your boss has asked you, but it would be very hard to see the bigger picture of why that pile of bricks needs to move a few meters. On the other hand, it could be something very worthwhile. It might be that you've found a purpose in helping people, and that's actually a really good positive thing, but that's still a purpose that you've found for yourself. But there's also a kind of purpose that God has for us, and that's purpose with a capital P, because that's a purpose that God had prepared for you beforehand. It's a purpose that you were created for. And I think an example that will help us grasp this idea of different purposes would be to consider a pen. There's loads of ways we could use a pen. A pen can have lots of different purposes. So for example, I sometimes slip a pen inside a book if I have nothing else, just to save the page. So I'm using a pen for the purpose of keeping a page in the book. Or if you've got an itch on your back that you can't quite scratch, you can't reach it, just get your pen. As long as you hold it from the end that's got the nib, not the other end, so you don't draw on your back, you can use your pen to scratch your back. So, you can find loads of purposes for a pen, but what's the pen's real purpose? What's its actual purpose? What's its purpose with a capital P? Well, surely the purpose of a pen is for writing. That's what it was made for. It's designed with all the parts and pieces by a designer who intentionally made a pen for writing stuff down, generally on paper. And when it does that, it's at its best. That's when it's working as well as it can work, when it's being employed to do the thing that it was made to do. And I want to tell you today that we are people who are made with a purpose, and we were built in a particular way to meet that purpose. I bet my voice has gone echoey now. I'm inside a little bridge here. I think that's the train track up there, so hopefully a train won't go by, so that'll be quite scary, very loud. There you go. So we are people who were made with a purpose by a God who had planned what he was going to make us for, how he would use us, and built us with certain things to help us achieve that purpose and achieve those goals. And I love this, and we're actually going to talk, there's so much to unpack with purpose. We're going to talk another time more about how you move into your purpose and how you find and explore your purpose. But I just want to explore some attributes of purpose today. So purpose is objective. We were made with a particular purpose that God has in mind for us. And in fact, we can keep ourselves busy with other purposes. And sometimes they're good purposes, but they're not the ones that we've found in God. They're not necessarily the ones that God had set apart for us. So be open-minded when you think about purpose. The second one I want to share is John 10:10. Jesus said, I came to bring life in all its fullness. I love this promise because it just shatters this image of Christianity as being this kind of boring, dusty, religious thing. And Jesus is saying, no, if you have the life that I really meant for you, it's a full life. It's a fullest life. Fulfillment. Purpose brings fulfillment. People need purpose. I just want to share something personal. I've recently become a new dad. Our little boy's just turned 3 months old, and honestly, it's sometimes you just feel so useless as a new dad. I'm not saying I am useless. Obviously, there are things I can do to help, but you just feel that way. It's like when you see your wife going through labour and she's going through more physical pain and endurance than you've ever seen her go through, and more you'll ever see anyone go through, and it's this ridiculous thing, and the only thing you can do is just stand there and encourage her and cheer her on, which is not a small thing. I think it means a load, but in a way you can't take the pain on, you can't take it away, you can't do anything practically. And if you're like me, you want to actually do things that make a difference. You want to take some pain away, you want to help in a practical way. Or, you know, afterwards when baby's out and baby needs milk every few hours, and you can't feed the baby if your wife is exclusively breastfeeding. It's just, again, it's this feeling of like, what can I do? I want to be helpful. And you find things like, you know, you can do nappy changes, you can get the baby in the sling and things like that. But what it can leave you feeling sometimes, you feel like you don't have a place in it, is you kind of end up feeling a bit useless. It's like, what am I really doing? Where's my part in this? How can I really help in a meaningful way? So when we lack purpose, we can struggle and we can start to feel useless, and we can flounder and sometimes set our hands to things that aren't that good or aren't that productive, because we just need to be doing something. Let me give you an example. So the other day I was cleaning the car, and I took my little boy, my 2-year-old boy, not my 3-month boy, to come and help. So out he comes to the car with me, and I'm cleaning the inside of the car, not the outside of the car. So I'm kind of hoovering and wiping surfaces and stuff and just making it feel nice inside again. And my little boy found that he could help by, he found some coins in the side of the door and started pushing them into the fan just one by one, and yeah, eventually the fan got filled up with these coins, and if you've ever, oh, that's a loud dog over there, there you go, apparently he likes what I'm saying, he agrees. Well, I don't know if he likes it actually. Yeah, his tail's wagging, he's happy. So yeah, if you've got kids, you probably found this, they love to help, and actually it's a really sweet part of human nature that just seems to be inbuilt. Kids absolutely love to help. They love to kind of be part of what you're doing, and it brings them to life. So I found that actually giving him tasks, giving him things to do, so yeah, giving him a cloth and asking him to wipe the seat, and it's really cute. It's obviously, like, you know, he's not really getting anything up or changing it that much, but what's great now actually is I've noticed I'm giving him things to do to help, and they are actually making a difference, and it actually makes our day easier. So it's great as I see my little boy learning to help, is actually genuinely becoming a real help to us, and I love seeing that. He's kind of coming to life as he does that, and I think that's what Jesus is saying. John 10:10, although the robber comes to steal, kill and destroy, I came that they may have life in all its fullness. And we might feel like we've had a lot of things stolen from us, a lot of things robbed from us, a lot of things destroyed by us in this scary season of pandemic. It may be that you've invested in things, you've built things up, you've had relationships that have been robbed and destroyed from you, but that promise follows straight from it. So if you're one of those people who has lost things, you've had stuff robbed, destroyed, killed, taken away from you, snatched away from you, that promise is for you. I came that you may have life, and life in all its fullness. And that moves nicely on to the third one that I wanted to explore. In Ecclesiastes 3, it says that there's a purpose, a time for every purpose. Every purpose has a season. Just wait for the ambulance to go by. Those guys are real heroes. I love the fact that we're clapping them. There's signs out all day, all the time, celebrating them. They're amazing. But there's a time for every purpose, and this is what Ecclesiastes tells us. Actually, I think it's time to start walking back the other way. So, yeah, on these walks, I'm walking around my local area, but if I talk for too long, I find that I just walk miles and miles away, and then it's ages before I'm able to get back and help. Anyway, yeah, there's a time for every season, there's a time for every purpose. We're in a season of repurposing at the moment. God has a new purpose for us, and we can seek that purpose from Him if we move deeper into our relationships with Him, if we get to know Him. So this is a season of repurposing. This is a season of something new, and it'll feel really bad if you feel like you built something up, especially if that thing was of God and suddenly it's been snatched away from you in this season. Don't despair. Don't yield to depression, or don't go down a dark path with it. God knows what's happening. He knew what was happening when He set you away on that task in the beginning, or He helped you build that thing in the beginning, and He knows what He's doing now. Just keep trusting Him. Oh, there's a train there as well. I did warn you that if you come walking with the Word with me, they're raw, unedited, uncut, so you'll just experience a walk as I experience it. If a dog barks at me, it's barking at you too. If a train passes, you get to watch it, all that sort of chaos. So yeah, I'm really grateful that you guys can come and walk with me, but just be aware these are totally unedited videos, which I actually think is a lot of fun. But I just wanted to share one more thing before I finish today, and that's that God had encouraged me to take a Sabbath. So being Pete, the passionate, enthusiastic person, I jumped in head first and thought, yeah, I'm doing Walking with the Word every day, and I said that I'm going to commit to doing it once a day, every day, and publishing the video as a daily thing. And then God was like, whoa, wait, Pete, there's that small matter of the 10 Commandments. It's listed alongside things like don't worship any other God before me, don't commit murder. So I just wanted to stop and think about that for a bit, and actually through various people, all independently and at the same time, just challenging me and saying, Pete, it's great you're doing the Walking with the Word, we love it, but have you thought about rest, have you thought about Sabbath? And I just kept getting that word from different people independently, and I want to stop and listen. So actually this is my last video of this week. On Sunday I'm not going to be making or publishing a video, so that gives you guys time to go and get fed in your own churches. For me, I'm part of an amazing church called the Well Sheffield, and they're streaming live sermons at the moment, and I love being part of those. I love being part of those services. I love being part of what they're doing digitally online. I think it's very spirit-filled, and the sermons are great. So if you actually don't have a church that you're able to meet with, if there's no one that's live streaming for you, go onto YouTube, check out the Well Sheffield. They'll be putting up something tomorrow. It's well worth going to listen to, excuse a pun. But yeah, be part of a church, get fed somewhere, and I'm actually going to be taking a day of rest. I just feel like that is actually a really important thing to do, and I'm grateful that people have shared what's on their heart there. So the other thing is I want this to be a community. I'm grateful that people are willing to write to me and just share those thoughts and tell me, and that's helped me to plan and consider my own pace. So just remember, this is a community. It's a two-way conversation. It's not just me talking to you through YouTube every morning with all the crazy chaos around, but it's a two-way conversation. You can always write to me. If you're connected with me on Facebook, you can drop me a private message. If you're not connected with me on Facebook, you're welcome to drop comments on the videos I upload to YouTube, and I just love to hear from you. Before I go, let me pray for you. Father, thank you for your purpose, thank you for your calling, thank you that you don't just bring us into your kingdom to be static people who don't do things. You bring us into your kingdom for purposes. You bring us into your kingdom with reasons and work set apart for us, Father. And I pray for each person watching this today as they explore their purpose, they explore the things they're using their time for. May they be blessed, may they know more direction, Father. I pray for people who have lost in this season, people who have lost purpose, who have lost relationships, have lost ministries. Lord, bless them, redirect them and help them to repurpose. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you on Monday.